Reading 1 again, and we have a matching headings. Matching headings for reading 1, often quite nice. I know students hate matching headings, but if you have it in reading 1, it's actually quite doable. Then we also have some true, false, not given, and some short answer questions. Now, you need to decide what you're going to do first. Personally, I like to do matching headings first because it takes a bit more time, and then after doing matching headings, you're a lot more familiar with the text, and so you can find these a lot more quickly and might save you time that way. If you feel strongly that you want to do these first, it's okay, I think, but I like to do these ones first. Right, so just a reminder of our strategies. The first phase, we're going to just check first, maybe second sentence. Second phase is probably the most important phase. It's the skimming, where you're looking for certain structural things, you're looking for positive, negative, all of these things. And if we can't find any of them, then we go into phase 3, the reading for detail, for the more difficult ones. In this matching headings, I want to show you that you don't have to do all phase 1, then all phase 2. You can kind of bounce between the two, and if you feel good about a paragraph, you can go into phase 2 for that paragraph and start skimming. Then the next paragraph, go back to phase 1. Doesn't have to be very strict how you do it. So the first thing that we must do, I actually made this mistake when I did this reading before. I started looking at paragraph A and I wasted a lot of time on paragraph A. They give you the answer for paragraph A. So please delete immediately. As you see the example, go and delete that one, please. Then on to paragraph B. So phase 1, first sentence. Tourism in the mass form as we know it today is a distinctly 20th century phenomenon. So this is all about tourism. So mass form, maybe something about today, 20th century. Let's see if we can find any of those. Economic and social significance, no. Mass tourism, right there, great, the mass form, tourism in the mass form. Travel for the wealthy, no. Foreign exchange, no. Economic effects, no. Air travel, no. World impact, no. So far I'm thinking definitely this one, but I want to spend a little bit of time on this paragraph. It's a very interesting paragraph. Sometimes in IELTS you get what you call a process paragraph. So just take a look at this paragraph and look at all of the process language. See if you can find all of the process language in this paragraph. The advent means the beginning, began. It's the beginning of the process. Following the Second World War, as we're moving on in time. Subsequent, after that. Then we had rapid growth and expansion. This growth led to is more process. In turn, more process language. So as you can see, this is a process paragraph describing how mass tourism developed. So for phase 2, if you were looking at phase 2 that would be this one. There's a lot of linking and structural language there to show you that is a process paragraph. There is also a little bit of this which I want you to see. As I've said before, this one and this one are probably the most important two for phase 2 for matching headings. So can you see any repetition? And this is definitely what we're looking at in this paragraph. They mention it in the first sentence. They repeat it in the second sentence. Possibly that it's very related to it. It's a major new industry. Mass means a lot or big. Major means big. So there's a lot of straight repetition of the mass tourism and some other repetition just for this idea of big and growth and expand. You can check again, but here is the process part of it, how it developed. A process describes how something develops, and the mass tourism is there. So I feel pretty confident that we can straight away. We've done phase 1 and phase 2 at the same time with this one, and we can answer that one. Great. Phase 1, tourism today has grown significantly in both economic and social importance. All right, now these are very big paragraphs. We're still in phase 1. This is the most important information in that sentence, and I remember I saw something there, right there. Economic and social significance means importance. So I would be tempted to say yes, absolutely. You might want to just check through that, go into phase 2. What are they talking about here? Economic. This is about economic. It's all about money, employer, industrial contributor. So this is all mainly economic. This is very important linking language because they've given you a concluding sentence, and they've put linking language in to show this is a conclusion sentence. Not all paragraphs have such a clear conclusion sentence. Actually, quite few paragraphs do, but they've given you one here. It's a conclusion. So what does the conclusion say? It has an effect both on the world economy and on society itself. So again, we've got this repetition. So we've got linking language that helped us there, and then repetition in this concluding sentence, which helped us there. So I'm pretty confident that we can just go with that first one. Travel for wealthy, foreign exchange, economic effects, maybe. Air travel, world impact, no. I didn't see anything about difficulty in the economic effects. And anyway, this paragraph, it's about the two things. It's about society and the economy. So I wouldn't go with this one. It's quite clear, I think, that it's just this one. Right, paragraph D. However, some important linking language. The major problems of the travel and tourism industry that have hidden, you can actually, this sort of thing, just ignore that sort of thing. It just means hidden again, that word obscured. It just means hidden, and you don't need to know it. That have hidden its economic impact are the diversity and fragmentation of the industry itself. So these are the two major problems that have hidden its economic impact. Now remember, in our phase 2, we also want to look for positive and negative. So does that sentence have a positive feeling or a negative feeling? This sentence definitely has a negative feeling because they're talking about problems, all right? So it's the problems which have hidden the economic impact, and those are the two problems, diversity and fragmentation. Problems that have hidden this economic impact. Travel for the wealthy, foreign exchange, difficulty, economic effects, definitely. So there's our negative thing, problems, difficulties, economic effects. Where are we? Economic impact, and hidden or to be recognized. World impact, no. Air travel, no. So even that one from the first sentence, I would be tempted to do it. Maybe we can just check a little bit. The travel industry includes all of these, many of these businesses. Impact again can be overlooked or underestimated. It's difficult to see. These things mean you can't see it. It's synonyms for this. In addition, some linking language, some structural language for you there. Moreover, so they're just adding more and more points. And however, the nature of this diversity make them, I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, I don't see anything about these other things, about wealthy, foreign exchange, air travel, world impact. So I think the first sentence gave it to us. I feel quite confident about that. They're talking about the problems, about the difficulties, and they've given a problem here, they've given another problem there, they've given another problem there. So the linking language helped you see the structure, but actually we could have gotten it from the first sentence once again. So this is not a difficult matching headings. What was that? 5. Finally, what have we got left? Travel for the wealthy, foreign exchange, air travel, world impact. I'm waiting for one of these to be more difficult. Once the exclusive province of the wealthy have become an institutional way of life for most of the population. So I see what they've done there. Wait. International trade. For example, all countries, countries, countries. In addition, number one ranked employer, countries, countries, countries. And however what? It's not possible to provide data. Worldwide tourism in many cases. Okay. But I just wanted to point out one thing, just because I'm experienced. It's just a little bit of extra information. And it's very clearly, it's a red herring. They are trying to catch you and make you think, first sentence, I see wealthy, boom, 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 wealthy over here. And so that's the answer. Be careful. They know that you're looking very closely at the first sentence, and they often put the tricks or the red herrings in the first sentence. Be careful of that. That paragraph is not about travel for the wealthy. That's just a little detail that they used to introduce the paragraph. It is completely not important to the meaning of the paragraph. This paragraph, I see a lot of countries. Do I see? What are we looking for? I'm going to delete that because I know what they're trying to do there. Foreign exchange, air travel, world impact. And this is the one that I like because I see a lot of countries there. They mention maybe 10, 15, 20 countries. They also mention worldwide over there and international over there. So they're talking about global things, worldwide things. So I'm pretty confident I don't see any of these others. Air travel, foreign exchange, world impact. Great. So I just wanted to point out to you, let's see if we can find these two. Where were these red herrings? Air travel, I saw it. It was over here. Development of the jet aircraft showed the growth and expansion. So that was a trick. They tried to trick you with that sentence. This was just one piece of information in the whole process. Remember, matching headings, you're looking at the overall thing, not one single piece of information. Foreign exchange was actually down here, also in paragraph B, so they took a lot of tricks out of here. This is just a final piece of information, a result of this whole process. We were looking at the process, that's the topic, not little pieces of information in the process. So those were two red herrings. Great, let's look at what next. I would just go with these. You can do either one, but I would start with the true, false, not given, get stuck into those. So let's find where they are. Largest employer found in travel employment figures. There's Australia, and maybe we can find that. But I think I'd like to start there. Employment figures over the world, 6% of Australian gross national product. Social impact. That's interesting because I remember we talked about social impact. So maybe we're going to find something like that. Employment figures. Two main features make it, I remember that, difficult to ascertain. Do you remember difficult? Visitor spending. Spending of residents. Statistically and individual economies. It's not that easy to find. Maybe we could find the Australian thing. But you don't want to spend too much time. You see, one thing this is why matching headings is good, because I saw this. I know where that is. And I know where this one is. Because of the matching headings that we did. So let's go and find those. This is the social impact, this paragraph over here. This is the difficulties, that paragraph over there. 6% of Australians. So that means here is where this is the numbers paragraph. Just like this is the process paragraph, this is the numbers paragraph. So I'm looking for Australian, but I can't see it. Can anyone see Australian? And I can't see Australian there. I'm quite sure it's supposed to come from there. Don't waste too much time, because I know maybe Australia is in all of these countries over here, but that wouldn't make sense because it's the first true false not given. They're not going to start the first true false not given here. So I think that one's going to be not given. I can't see Australian. I can't even see 6%. Don't waste too much time searching for not givens. Don't waste too much time looking for something that is not there. Employment figures. Let's find that, because I know this figures means numbers. And this is the numbers paragraph. So let's see about employment figures. The largest employment figures in the world are found in travel and tourism industry. What's your target language? Largest are the largest in the world is the target language. Are those figures in the employment figures in the travel and tourism industry the largest in the world or not the largest in the world? One of the largest segments of the service industry, no, is travel and tourism, so it's not that. According to these, tourism is the largest industry in the world on any measure, including employment. So that's looking good. Tourism is the largest industry in the world in all of these, including employment. So I would say yes. It is the largest. That's the target language. We found target language in the world, yes. Travel and tourism, employment, yes. So I would go with a true there. Tourism contributes 6% of Australian gross national product. Actually, I already know this is not given because there's nothing about Australia. I've scanned. Where's 6%? There's 12%. There's 7%. There's 6% of the world's national, and nothing about Australia. Quite confident that's going to be not given. Tourism has a social impact because it promotes recreation. What's the target language? Difficult to see. Maybe it's sort of yes or no sort of thing. Does it or does it not? So recreation. Why does tourism have a social effect? Over here they say tourism has an effect on the economy and because of education on society. So actually on education. But that does not mean that this is false. This was the target language, but it does not mean it's false. We don't know. Maybe it also promotes recreation. This is one area where students will get confused. This is actually another not given. Many students will say, no, but the text says it promotes education. That's why it has a social impact, and therefore it's false. But no, because recreation and education, they don't have to exist one or the other. Recreation and education can both exist in the world. It doesn't mean that if one exists, the other one doesn't exist. So maybe tourism promotes recreation. We don't know. Tricky one that. But make sure you understand why it's not given and why it's not given and why it's not false. Two main features make its economic significance difficult to ascertain. These are strange true, false, not given. Anyway, maybe two main features and difficult. Is it difficult or is it easy? And I remember we had the two difficulties, and there's the diversity and fragmentation, and those are the two main features which make it the economic impact difficult to ascertain. Difficult to ascertain means difficult to see or difficult to measure. So that one is true. Spending is always greater than, this is the target language, very clear target language. They are, you should be happy when you see something like this because you know what IELTS is trying to test here. Is it always greater? I bet you this one is not given. How do they know? How can you say spending by tourists is always greater than spending of locals in tourist areas? Here they talk about spending by residents, spending by visitors. But where do they say that it's always greater? Nowhere. So another not given, which is weird because that's 3 not givens. 3 not givens out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You would expect 2, 2, 2. It's usually 2, 2, 2, but it's possible IELTS can do something strange. It is easy to show statistically. That's probably our target language there. Just going to highlight some target language. It's easy to show statistically how tourism affects individual economies. So we want something about statistics, that's numbers or data, and economies. Statistics, statistics, statistics. And it's in this point over here. Difficult for the industry to develop reliable information. There's our statistics. It's about the information in order to estimate contribution to the individual economies, the regional, national, global. So there's our target language. But anyway, I know one of these needs to be false sometimes, so we've got a false over there. Easy versus difficult. Right. Now I know there's countries in that final paragraph, so this is obviously from the final paragraph because this didn't do the final paragraph. So let's find Greece. Tourism, I think that should be is. Tourism is the most important. Where's Greece? Greece is over there. For example, tourism is the major source of income in these countries. So most important, major. And so I would put source of income. Are we allowed 3 words? Yeah, 3 words. Tourism is the most important source of income. Quite straightforward. There's no other Greece, is there? This is a good word to know, major. The most important, the biggest source of income. The travel and tourism in Jamaica is the major what? Where's Jamaica? There's Jamaica there. In addition, so that was the for example. Here's the in addition. All of this, you don't need to know that. Travel and tourism is the #1 ranked employer in all of these countries. So, #1 ranked and major, it's the same thing. A lot of my students put ranked there, but look, we didn't check the grammar. We need to check the grammar. Most important, adjective, noun here, noun phrase. Major, adjective, noun or noun phrase. Measurement of preposition, noun or noun phrase. So we're only looking at nouns or noun phrases. Some of my students put ranked because they saw #1 and they think that's major, so the answer is ranked. But ranked is part of this whole adjective phrase. There's your noun there, employer. Check your grammar, please. That ranked, it's the ed adjective. Remember, we get ing and ed adjectives like bored and boring. The ranked there is one of those ed adjectives. The problems associated with measuring international tourism are often reflected in the measurement of something. Problems reflected in the measurement. What do they measure? Problems, statistical measurement. To measure domestic, what are we looking for? Measurement of. The problems associated with measuring international are reflected in the measurement of something. So this one is quite difficult. Can you see the reflected? Reflected is over there, similar. So they say they have problems to measure worldwide tourism, international tourism, and they have the same problems when you try and measure what? Domestic tourism. I think that one was very difficult. Read it again. What they're saying is these problems also happen when you do this. This reflected is this also or similar difficulties arise. And that's your answer. Measurement of when you try to measure domestic tourism. All right. Actually, that was pretty good, I think. Only this number 13 was pretty difficult, but the others you could get. So you're looking at 12 or 13 there. It would be nice if you get something like this in your test. Great, thank you. Let's move on to passage 2.